Hello from LevelUp 2021. My name is Tomer Geller and I'm head of studio and game design here at Supersonic Studios. I've been working in the hyper-casual space for several years now, and so far it's been a great experience for me. Today, we're going to go over several design elements that have been recently trending in hyper-casual. When looking at the hyper-casual market, in the past year, we've witnessed the emergence of multiple design trends, subgenres, and other elements that were more common in the bigger scope games, such as casual, mid-core, and even AAA, transitioning into hyper-casual. That being said, we expect this trend to continue and to see new genres that will continue to come throughout this year in the near future. Let's start with Runners 2.0. We take here the classic runner experience, where you control a character in a 3D space moving forward and mainly navigating between lanes. Here, we're adding secondary mechanics that are continuous and fluid. And by that, we're adding an additional dimension to the moment-to-moment gameplay. Now, my character is able to grow or transform in height, width, object count, or any other variation. We see strong sense of progressions in these games. We experience the character growing in a continuous form. We also have different ways that we can create levels here, whether it's a more free camera or the example on the right, a linear path with a fixed camera. Additionally, we have dynamic rhythm of gaining and losing, something that we chase in the game. So we're constantly chasing some kind of a resource and try to maximize and reach the optimal state. But the level keeps bringing us down as players, and this is the tension and excitement that we generate here. Also, we have multiple mechanics. On the example on the left, in Shortcut Run by Voodoo, I have a character. This character is collecting a pile of bricks. I can also place these bricks as a shortcut method. I'm also getting a speed boost as a reinforcement. And on the right, we can see High Heels by Zynga, which is the first game that ever presented a female character within a runner structure. And this game actually ended up being the most downloadable game in Q1 of 2021. Decision making. This is an element that is very common in games. However, in this segment, we are going to refer mainly to a narrative-based gameplay that is seen in hyper-casual. Very simple and accessible to pick up. So in this example, players are given several options, usually between 2 to 3, so it won't be too many details. And each option here is unique and give the opportunity to control a different kind of path for the player. So this creates some kind of a power of choice for the player, give me a great sense of control and responsibility. Also, adding depth and a story dimension and feel to the game. We have opportunity to merge this design with different genres. On the right, we can see Save the Girl by Lion Studios, where I control different choices on a narrative level. And my goal is to get the girl safely to the end point. More importantly, if your game meets success, it's a very elegant way to monetize. The player is presented with a third unique option that's a rare new choice, and now it can be watched via rewarded video. Simulation. This genre has been out there for about 2 years now, and we can divide it into multiple segments as well. First, we have the multi-step process, where usually it entails kind of crafting process where I need to build some kind of a product in multiple steps. Next up is the role-playing game, where usually I would play some kind of a day job or a day routine of some kind of professional, making me as a player taking critical choices. And what is nice about in this example is that I can experience some kind of role-playing feelings. Did I execute a choice as a good person, as a bad person, and so on. And we have the ASMR, which is mainly maximizing around high level of satisfaction and very relaxing art and no fail condition. Just kick back, relax, and play. From ideation standpoint, ideas can be found relatively easy on different social media platforms. In terms of marketability, it's okay to assume that videos that have hundreds or tens of millions of views might be able to be translated into potentially interesting prototypes. This is also applicable for videos that are outside of social trends, right? If you look at any product that had a lot of exposure and hundreds, if not tens of millions of views, if you deconstruct it properly, you might recognize some elements that are worth to apply in your game. First-person perspective. This is a very common point of view, mainly in other gaming platforms out there. So we all know the first-person shooters. This is also applicable in adventure games, RPGs, racing games, and more. There are two main ways to apply this perspective. One would be like a standard first person. So the weapon here on the left is kind of stationary and I'm just navigating to kind of aim and protect the group that is being chased. And on the right, I can see a more execution of a VR-like components where the sword is actually floating as if I'm in a VR set, but I'm not. Since this content is relatively fresh in hyper-casual, we encourage new studios, other publishers to adopt this approach, and if you manage to get a good or interesting first-person idea, you have high chances to get interesting marketability data or even gain KPIs. Minigames as subgenre. This is a bit self-explanatory. We talk here about a collection of different games that share the same high-level theme and mechanic. In this example, it's typing. So as we said, mechanic and theme choice are main key components if you want to go this direction. The main theme that you base your game off should be very broad and universally familiar. While we are different people who live in different countries and speak different languages, we still do the same universal day-to-day actions, and we are familiar with different traits as universal people. Having a variety of different minigames in your game might help to support your game KPIs, such as retention and playtime. Here are some key takeaways for you. No pun intended, runners are running strong at the moment, and from conceptualization point of view, might be relatively easy to produce if you're a new studio or a new team. Be familiar with different trends out there and try to study their advantages. Try to adapt to what fits to your studio in terms of strengths. For example, ASMR games usually require high level of art execution. And lastly, don't be afraid to innovate. The risk is worth it. There are more genres out there that haven't been explored yet in hyper-casual, and we are sure that it's a matter of time until they do. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.